The 40 best heist movies of all time from Men's Health. This video is strictly for the boys. What are some of my favorite heist movies? I don't know. I'm not sure. Heat. Heat can definitely be called a heist movie. Rafifi. Absolutely Rafifi. I don't know. They'll come to me as we go through this list, but those two immediately came to mind. Can The Bling Ring be called a heist movie? Because that's certainly one of them. I love The Bling Ring. Sophia Coppola, Emma Watson. Love you guys. You guys are fucking brilliant. Okay, the 40 best heist movies of all time. Most of us don't want to do something illegal. Still, there's a bit of a rush when we hear about someone's dastardly deeds, especially when they're elaborate, well-planned crimes. True crime will always intrigue us, and a good heist story is no exception. Okay. All the oceans? This ain't numbered. This is just a list. Is it alphabetical? Is the next one A? No, the next one's W. It's just randomly put here. All the oceans. That's a fucking lie. Okay. I might allow the first Ocean's 11 to be here. That one's fun at the very least. But there's no like, look. You're talking about Ocean's 8. Like fuck off. No, these are nope, generic, stupid. If they are guys' movies, they are truly made for guys, and guys also just want to watch famous people hang around and joke and do fucking nothing. That's the only appeal I see of those movies. Like Clooney and Pitt and Damon, like, oh, they're part of a team. I don't care about the Ocean's movies. Widows, I didn't watch. I like Steve McQueen though. I did not watch Widows. National Treasure. I'll allow it. That one's goofy. That one's fun. That one's really cool. I enjoy it. You know, every once in a while, Disney will come out with a movie that's actually just fucking fun. That movie, that's what it is, dude. It's fun. It's so quoted, or it was quoted forever. It still is quoted. Come on. Heat. Yes, I love Heat. One of the best movies ever. It's one of the best heist movies, one of the best crime movies, one of the best drama movies. It's just simply one of the best movies, one of the greatest examples of 90s American filmmaking. It's beautiful. Yo, the bling ring. What's up, Men's Health? You are based as fuck right now. I like you, Men's Health. The bling ring is so fucking cool. Sophia Coppola, her films, if there's a single theme that her films try to explore, they are all stories of girlhood in captivity, right? The Virgin Suicides, Marie Antoinette, Lost in Translation, The Beguiled, and certainly The Bling Ring, as well as Somewhere. Somewhere is very good. All of those films are about girlhood in captivity. And The Bling Ring, I think, is pretty cool because it's investigating ultra modern pop fixations on stealing luxury, stealing iconography, stealing success, stealing tokens of success, and even fetishizing successful women or fetishizing the lifestyles of successful women by robbing them of their iconographies. I thought Emma Watson was amazing in this film. I think that the best performance, though, like the most captivating one, belongs to Katie Chang with her looking in that mirror. It's a film about idealized forms and how kind of girlhood has been vandalized by the idealized forms of feminine success or of just of pop success, of pop culture. The Bling Ring is a film about girlhood in the captivity of pop culture itself, where kind of the only reasonable thing to do are unreasonable acts of robbery. You you target that which you fantasize over most, right? It's a beautiful example. It's a beautiful investigation of generational bankruptcy and moral nihilism. And no matter what, Coppola's characters are always extremely pitiable, and you feel for them because someone has to feel something, and so it's up to the audience in the case of the Bling Ring. I love The Bling Ring. It's an excellent film. Sofia Coppola is an excellent filmmaker. Inception, man, I hated Inception. It is a heist movie, but I think that for a movie about dreams, it's the most unimaginative thing I've ever seen. Christopher Nolan has no fucking creativity, dude. And I think it pretends to be such an inventive film, but it's just bankrupt of ideas. Inception's just entirely overrated. It's terrible. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Inside Man, no, I think it's sanitized Spike Lee. I think it's hired gun Spike Lee. I think it's studio system Spike Lee. I don't think that this is confrontational Spike Lee. It's not the Spike Lee that is truly masterful. I don't appreciate it. Army of the Dead, of course I didn't watch Army of the Dead. I have self-respect. Out of Sight. Fun movie that I haven't thought about in a very long time. Jennifer Lopez in the late 90s. No one could really beat her. Okay? Oh my God, bro. She had that era in a chokehold, man. She put me through puberty, bro. Oh my God. She made me feel funny things. And Out of Sight is certainly one of those movies. I believe it was based on an Elmore Leonard novel. And someone should really do a study of how fixated the late 90s Hollywood and just cinema in general are kind of like focused on Elmore Leonard, the hyperfixation of Hollywood upon Elmore Leonard adaptations in the late 90s should truly it's truly fascinating, and I think it should be studied because Elmore Leonard is an interesting writer, and his books do have an interesting philosophy, but a lot of it is psychotic, you know? If you get down to it, a lot of it's psychotic, but there is a virtue within it as well. And I think Out of Sight's very cool. I think it's a very cool movie. This is George Clooney, fresh off of From Dusk Till Dawn. George Clooney was really cool when he first started being in movies, and I don't really know where he went wrong, but his first couple movies, he was fucking cool as hell. Jennifer Lopez, though, that's the reason we all watched that movie. That's the reason people still watch that movie. That's the reason people watch U-Turn. You guys remember U-Turn? That movie is great. Why is it great? Because Jennifer Lopez is so fucking sexy. Jennifer Lopez is the reason why so many movies were made and watched in the late 90s. I don't even think I'm kidding that much. She's outrageous. She was cool. Anaconda also rules. Okay, Anaconda's not a fucking heist movie. No Sudden Move. I haven't watched it. 2021. Well, this isn't very informative. Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, John Hamm. That sounds good. I like all three of those people. I love Benicio del Toro. He's one of my favorite actors. So maybe I'll check it out. Five Bloods. It's a lot better than Inside Man, but I'm not really impressed by it. Every director has a peak, has a prime, and Spike Lee is well past his. He's still a master, but primes exist. He's on the decline, and he's been on the decline for quite some time. Even though I did like Black Klansman, apart from that, his later work has been rather disappointing. Baby Driver, one of the most overrated movies in recent memory, or one of the most overrated movies of the last 10 years, easily. Easily. It's such an annoying film. I think the composition is nauseating. I think the characters are just completely aggravating. I think the story itself, the narrative system of the film is just, oh, so cheap and almost insulting. I hate Baby Driver. Logan Lucky, I didn't watch. I don't know if I trust Steven Soderbergh. Okay? It's the second time he's been on this list. I feel like I've been talking about him a lot. He gets featured on these lists because he makes so many different kinds of movies, man. I gotta study Steven Soderbergh. Gotta really figure him out because I love Sex, Lies, and Videotape. I love Traffic. I thought Schizopolis was great too. But then you get shit like the Oceans movies. And I don't know if Logan Lucky's good. I have no idea. Like, I don't trust it because the guy also made like Solaris and all the Oceans movies and a bunch of other terrible fucking movies. But I don't know like what his whole fucking I don't know his raison d'etre. I don't know Soderbergh's overall ethos. I don't understand him. I haven't really tried. Maybe I should. He's really is he important? I don't even know if he's significant. Logan Lucky, I don't know. I didn't watch it. That's basically all that meant. Now You See Me, it's so gimmicky and cheap and dumb, right? That's the problem with heist movies. You see, heist movies, that's why something like Heat is so, I think, sophisticated, and The Bling Ring is so complex and tender because they're not trying to fool the audience, right? They don't think that the audience are idiots or that the audience need to be wowed. Whereas Now You See Me and Inside Man and some of the and Ocean's 11 and some of the other films that we've covered so far, they treat heists in films like magic tricks, where like the composition is deliberately deceptive. You know, they do a lot of sleight of hand visually, or they deliberately misdirect the audience, or completely use dishonest framing within the narrative systems to kind of keep you away from information that would otherwise be accessible to the viewer. And it's just like setting up a magic trick. Magic tricks are unfair. Magic tricks are dumb. Magic tricks impress very drunk people and very young children. I don't think that that's what makes a heist movie cool. I don't think that a twist ending makes any movie good. I think that a heist movie should kind of be more poetic, right? Because the heist in Heat is poetic. The heists or the robberies within the Bling Ring are extremely poetic and philosophical. They are representative of larger cultural broad strokes of, nihilism, of existentialism, of fatalism, of suicidal ideations, of so many different kinds of things, like coming into true fruition. They're representative of a spectacle. If you live in a society of the spectacle where everything has been replaced by its representation, then heists are possibly the mightiest spectacles of all, especially in something like the Bling Ring, where they are stealing representations of wealth. Right? There are so many different layers to the philosophy of Sofia Coppola, to the philosophy of Michael Mann, that's really rewarding to engage with when you interact with those heist pictures. When it comes to something like Now You See Me or Inside Man or Ocean's 11 or whatever, it's I think it's extremely insulting to the viewer because they're trying to trick the viewer. They're trying to make the viewer out to be a fool so that they buy into the trick. I don't think that a heist should be a magic trick. I think a heist should be a grandiose statement or a spectacle, kind of representing deeper, far deeper things that represent or are indicative or are symbolic of the human experience itself. There. Reservoir Dogs. That's something Reservoir Dogs does. I agree. Reservoir Dogs is an excellent heist film. I mean, even just stylistically, it's a heist film where you never see the heist, right? But Quentin Tarantino at the same time is making a lot of statements about cinematic archetypes because we're not seeing real men here. We are seeing cinema's idea of men, cinema's concepts of men, cinema's archetypes, popular archetypes of masculinity, just turning on each other in a warehouse, shooting each other to death. Right? We're seeing cinema's archetypes of masculinity themselves turning on each other. And I think that's what makes it beautiful, and that's what provides a philosophy to the film. It's an excellent debut. It's much better than Ringo Lamb City on Fire, which I agree. I definitely think that Tarantino stole completely ripped off in every single way. But who gives a fuck? Quentin Tarantino's movie was 10 times better. It's so good. I love it. Jackie Brown, yeah, another Elmore Leonard adaptation as well. And this is one of Quentin Tarantino's finest films. It's possibly his most mature film to date, which is interesting considering it was his third film. He made it comparatively earlier in his career, and it's the most mature thing that we have from the director. I've loved The Heist here. I think it's a great movie. I think it's great. And I think that once again, The Heist is, there are twists, there are turns, but it's also symbolic of Cinema itself. Quentin Tarantino's cinema is extremely self-referential. It's so self-referential that it becomes ultra-violently hostile to itself. And Jackie Brown's an excellent example of postmodern filmmaking. Fast Five, dude, I really want to dedicate a weekend to watching all of the Fast movies. I think I've only seen three of them, and I know that I would love them. Have a sneaking suspicion that I would love all of them. So I'll wait for that day. They look really fun. They look absurd and bonkers, and I think I'd really dig it. Bottle Rocket, all right, dude. Yeah, Wes Anderson, he had three great films, in my opinion. They were in order, actually. Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and The Royal Tenenbaums. Wonderful comedies. They're so good. And then after that, I feel that the comedy got lost within the style. He became too self-obsessed and he overcomposed his work, and the comedy was lost. And I find it difficult to connect with his later work. I find it very easy to be aggravated actually by his later work. Whereas in Bottle Rocket, his very first film, I think it's actually quite a sensitive comedy. And Owen Wilson, this is such a great performance. On the Run from Johnny Law, and It Ain't No Trip to Cleveland. I love Bottle Rocket. It's hilarious. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful movie that, similar to Tarantino, is also kind of making some meta-contextual statements about gangster and heist movie archetypes as well. Kind of conflicting with Wes Anderson's kind of offbeat, almost twee interpretation of masculinity. And Bottle Rocket, love it. Love it. Lovely. Drive's really good. Drive's great. Drive is an excellent example of robberies or acts of violence being highly philosophical, highly violent. It's my favorite Nicholas Winding Refn film, which might make me sound kind of normy, but I also don't give a fuck because I also like, Only God Forgives. I like Bronson and Neon Demon. And fuck, what's the early stuff he made with Mads Mikkelsen? Pusher. I like some of his work a lot. Drive, I will always love. The style is so great. And I love interacting with it. I love engaging with it. And I think that it'd be really hard to find a film that better understands the sensitive desperation of masculinity in 2011, in the late 20s and in the late 2000s to the early 2010s. I think this movie gets it, dude. I think it perfectly understood men and encapsulated kind of what it felt like to be a young man in that time period, and used things like heists and action to express that. The bank job, ew, it's gross. Let's not put Jason Statham movies on here, man. That's disgusting. Ant Ant-Man. It's one of the funner Marvel movies. I didn't despise it. It's completely inoffensive, sanitized, well-meaning fun. That's all. It's really fun. Don't interact with it because there's basically nothing there. But it's a Marvel movie I don't despise. It's fun. It's it's a fun movie. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. You know what? I much prefer The Sting when it comes to Redford and Newman. This is an okay movie, but The Sting, I loved that movie when I was younger. I loved The Sting so much that I learned how to play The Entertainer on the piano. It was hard because I didn't know how to play anything else, and I started learning that song. Fish Called Wanda. Wow, I haven't thought about that in a while. All right. You know how I don't normally talk about the Academy as if it's some sort of authority, but when an actor wins an Academy Award for a pure comedy role, you know that there's something to that. And Kevin Kline taking home Best Supporting Actor for A Fish Called Wanda, you know that that comedy was out of control, and it was. Kevin Kline, I don't know if he attained genius, but he approached it several times. And in A Fish Called Wanda, he was certainly on the verge of extreme genius. Watch that movie just to see Kevin Kline's almost masterful comedic performance. He's electric in that film. And Jamie Lee Curtis, I think that's her in her prime. I love that. Fish Called Wanda's good. I even like Fierce Creatures, the kind of semi sequel that the gang made. And it's cool. I don't even like Monty Python, but I liked John Cleese and Michael Palin in these films. You know, A Fish Called Wanda, I think works. I think it works. The Sting. Here we go, baby. This is good. This is a bona fide fucking killer movie, dude. I love this movie. So much fun. It's cool style. It's awesome. Mission Impossible, the Brian De Palma film. This is an excellent movie. I really enjoy this movie. It's very, very fucking good. It's deeply, deeply effective. Rogue One, I watched it. Uh I just couldn't believe that Diego Luna from Y Tu Mama Tambien was in a Star Wars movie. And he's Andor. He got his own fucking show. I'm like, that's my boy. What is he doing? What is he doing? I don't know. My thoughts on Rogue One, it reminded me of Y Tu Mama Tambien, and everyone who wants to watch Rogue One should just watch Y Tu Mama Tambien. There's no heist in that movie, except for my heart, because that movie steals it all the time. Maribel Verdú specifically steals my heart every time I watch Y Tu Mama Tambien. Now that is my true... Oh, she... What? The Friends of Eddie Coyle. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I approve. American Animals I didn't watch. You know what? I kind of like this Evan Peters guy. He's been growing on me. I just haven't watched this movie. I can't speak to its quality. The Town, I can speak to the quality. So, I love Blake Lively. She's really, really hot. That's the first thing I say. I'm a fucking moron. Okay, The Town, it gets it kind of drowns in its own social commentary for me. Like I think that that's necessary. I think that that's important. But Ben Affleck, he didn't show a lot of restraint there. Same problem as like Gone Baby Gone for Affleck's composition. Like they're both okay movies, but Affleck doesn't he lacked the maturity to make a kind of truly coherent and profound, succinct and concise statement. I think that The Town is not an overwhelming movie, but it does overwhelm the audience a bit to the point where it's eye roll inducing in its messaging. You know, there are some problems there. I think Affleck would figure that out by like Argo and stuff, you know? He is a decent director overall. But in films like The Town and Gone Baby Gone, you can really see where he was struggling in his earlier days behind the camera. Bound is fucking great. Bound absolutely rules. Wonderful queer movie, wonderful, wonderful heist film. Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon, the Wachowskis. What's not to love about Bound? It's so stylish and cool. The Thomas Crown Affair. Fuck yeah. Just I have a video on this with Isabel where we analyze this film for an hour. It's really interesting. If you want to know what I have to say, go watch that video. Thomas Crown Affair is really, 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 really cool. And it's really erotic. You know, like it's such a hypersexual movie. And yeah, it's really good. It even makes a lot of statements about James Bond, almost like deconstructing him through the Thomas Crown Affair by using Pierce Brosnan. It's wonderful, actually. John McTiernan was so good. And that same year, 1999, dude, he made The 13th Warrior as well, which I think is even better than the Thomas Crown Affair. You know, he was on fire. He ruled 90s American action. He was so good. I love John McTiernan. Dead Presidents, I have to rewatch that. But yeah, it fucking rules. Set it off. Fuck yeah. Oh my God, all these baddies right here, dude. Dude, I love Set It Off. Set It Off is an essential film. It's so good. How to Steal a Million. I'm not the biggest Audrey Hepburn fan, if I'm being honest. Bonnie and Clyde is so good. So they commit robberies and stick-ups. A heist seems to involve planning, though, and I think planning is the opposite of the anarchism that is conveyed throughout Bonnie and Clyde. I love Bonnie and Clyde. It's a wonderful movie. The most interesting part about Bonnie and Clyde is the fact that Clyde Barrow is the most sexually insecure character you will ever see in a film. Ugh, it's really affecting, actually. It's so fucking good and ultra violent. The editing is unbelievably good. The editing probably hasn't been matched. It's such an ultra violent editing style. I love it. To Catch a Thief, Hitchcock, I hate most of your movies. Do I hate most of his movies? I never really thought about it. Um, I don't care about most of his movies, which might be worse than hate when you really think about it. Hitchcock is obviously talented. He's one of the greats. It's just maybe he wasn't that great. Let's think about it. Heist, haven't watched it in so fucking long. Don't remember a fucking thing about it. Is Swordfish gonna be on here? That'd be interesting. Swordfish gets 5 stars for. I'm not even gonna say it. You know what I'm gonna say. Thief. Oh my God, Michael Mann. Michael Mann. Hell yeah, dude. And that's his debut. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful film that truly starts the filmic philosophy of Michael Mann in such a powerful way. Michael Mann was a master out the gate. Thief, one of his best films. And James Caan, it's a strong contender for his best performance. I would probably have to ultimately say that James Caan's best performance was as Sonny Santino Corleone in The Godfather 1, though. Money Train, another example of Jennifer Lopez being hot enough to carry an entire weak ass movie on her shoulders, okay? Like, this is another example of Jennifer Lopez being the reason why a movie is fondly remembered. I love Jennifer Lopez in it. I don't even remember the rest. If I've watched Top Cappy, then I don't remember it. Was that the end? Oh, for a second I thought we were gonna get Swordfish. And then I can talk for, I don't know, maybe an hour about Halle Berry's Rack. It's as if I don't have like an internal mute button. But hey, that made Swordfish great. Swordfish should have been here because all that's on my mind right now is Halle Berry. Uh, it's also incredibly bad. I don't care. Whatever though. 5 stars. 5 stars for the pretty lady. Um, was that a good video? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about what we just covered. No, I think I provided some decent insight. I also believe Jennifer Lopez started it. She made me lose my goddamn mind, and by the end, I was ranting and raving about Halle Berry being topless like a madman. Not my fault. We went to Men's Health. We talked like guys, bro. We talked about chicks, talked about guns, talked about robberies. Hell yeah. This was for the guys. I don't know. I hope you fucking enjoyed this video. Rafifi wasn't there. Why wasn't Rafifi there? Jules Dassin, so fucking good. And that's a movie he made when he was blacklisted. He was a victim of the communist witch hunts during the McCarthy era. And that's a film that he made in France. I think that's the first or second film he made in France. Of course, in America, he made like several classic noirs like Night in the City and The Naked City and even Brute Force. And then Rafifi, oh, it's a masterful fucking heist movie that has that same kind of noir exploration of the damnation of masculinity, about how men feel doomed and they feel so doomed, that they end up making it happen. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy uh, of fatalistic, anti-romantic ultra-violence. Rafifi's great. Rafifi should have been there. That's a huge miss. That's a huge swing and a miss from Men's Health. But I didn't find the rest of the list too offensive. I don't think. I think it's fine. Thank you for watching me though.